Hello dear students, welcome back to the class. Today we are going to discuss tenses and their uses. It is important that we shall not mix up time and tenses. But the tense of verbs do not always fit into the past, present and future. Let us look at an example. If it rains, I shall stay at home. In this sentence, the first part of the sentence is simple present tense and the later part is simple future. So in the same sentence, we can use present tense, past tense, or future tense, but it's all depends on the meaning. So tense indicates the time of an action or state. There is a small box given in our textbook, and you can look at that. If it is talking about an action, for example, she does her job, it is in present tense. And how do we make the past tense? She did her job, and the future tense will be she will do her job. All these three sentences are talking about action: does her job, did her job, will do her job. The tense also tells about state. He is fat. He was fat 6 months ago. And how do we change this sentence into future tense? He will be fat if he continues to eat junk food. Dear students, the formation of simple present tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense, and present perfect continuous tense are studied in the previous classes. So here let us look at how to use these tenses. First of all, simple present tense. There are around 11 rules or 11 situations are given in our textbook. Let us look at them. The first one, to express universal truths and situations or facts that are permanent. So dear students, simple present tense is used when we need to say a universal truth, or when we need to talk about a universal truth, or the situation or facts that are permanent. If a situation is permanent, then we can use simple present tense. For example, the sun rises in the east. It's a simple present tense and it is expressing universal truth. And mosquitoes cause malaria. This is a fact, a scientific fact, and this scientific fact also is expressed in simple present tense. Let us go to the next one. To express habitual actions. If we have some habit of doing the things in all days, then we have to use it in simple present tense. Cats drink milk. Its meaning is that cats are in the habit of drinking milk. Another example, he goes to school at 8 a.m. That means he is going to school at 8 a.m. every day. So in order to express the habitual actions, we have to use a simple present tense. And the next one is to express actions in the immediate present. If something is happening right now at the time of speaking, then we have to use or we have to express those things in simple present tense. To express what is actually taking place in the immediate present. For example, here comes the leader. See how it looks. And also to express things that happen in a flash often in our minds. For example, I agree with you. I rely on your support. Simple present tense also can be used when somebody is showing people how to do something. For example, making a cake. And speaking as well as acting at the same time. So one person is baking the cake and at the same time he is explaining or teaching him. I take 2 cups of flour, strain and put it in a bowl. I make a well in the flour, then I break an egg into the well, etc. Likewise, if you are explaining the things and at the same time if you are doing that one, then we have to use in simple present tense. And the next situation is to indicate the present period. So maybe, for example, my brother works in a factory. So he might have started before, but still now also he is working in the factory. In such cases, we can use a simple present tense. Our house has large windows. Right now also, my house has large windows. In such situations also, we can use a simple present tense. To express a future fixed action, we have fixed, I will be going to Kerala by next month. In such situations, I can say that I'm going by Kerala on August. Likewise, I can say, for example, the school holidays begin next week. The match starts at 5 p.m. The actions which are fixed in the future time can also be expressed in simple present tense. And the next one is to show ownership or relationship. This car belongs to Mr. Gupta. She has two sons. So, if we are talking about something owning, right now I am owning. If I am not owning now, then I can use past tense. But if, at the present time, if we are having something like a car or bike, something, in order to mention that one, we have to use simple present tense, and to show the relationships also. With the verbs of perception like see, hear, smell, taste, feel. So, dear students, here one thing you have to keep in mind: the verbs of perception are not used in continuous tense. It is used in simple present tense. So, for example, we used to say that smelling or feeling. I am feeling very bad. So that sentence is wrong because it is a perception or it is an emotion. So these things are used in simple present tense. So we have to say that I feel very bad. Usually the verbs of perceptions are not used in continuous tense. It is used in simple present tense. There is one more mistake that usually the children make, that is I am understanding. But that is not used in a continuous tense. That has to be used in a simple present tense. I understand, or he understands. Do you understand? So, understand is a word which must be used in simple present tense, not in continuous tense. When we talk about present continuous tense, we will look more about the words which are not used in a continuous tense. Let us go to the next one. In dramatic narratives, if you are narrating something in a dramatic way, then we must use simple present tense. For example, the anxious spectators wait for the match to start. Here comes the referee with a whistle in his hand. The ball goes up in the air and the match starts with excitement. So all these sentences are used in simple present tense. So whenever we give some commentary, we must use simple present tense. Next one is conditional clauses. Dear students, last year we had studied about the conditions, the first condition, second condition, third condition, and the zero condition, and we had learned its rules and the formations also. I request you to revise those parts. Conditional clauses: if he works hard, he will succeed. Unless he runs, he will not win. In these two sentences, we have used simple present tense along with the if clause. In the second example, it is written unless. Unless means if not. And the next one is in time clauses. Time clauses are introduced by conjunctions of time such as when, while, until, till, after, as soon as, and no sooner than, as. Whenever we are using these time clauses, we have to use it in simple present tense. For example, when you reach Chennai, I shall meet you, or I will stay there till you come back. And the final rule is scientific fact. Water freezes at 0 degrees centigrade. So, in order to express the scientific facts, also we have to use a simple present tense. And here in your textbook, the formation of sentences are given. For simple present tense, we have to begin the sentence with a subject plus verb plus s or es with the third person singular plus object. Present continuous tense will be beginning with the subject plus is, am, are plus ing form of the verb, that is present participle. And present perfect will be beginning with the subject plus has or have plus past participle form of the verb plus object. And present perfect continuous tense is beginning with a subject plus has or have plus been plus ing form of the verb plus object plus since or for is also used along with the present perfect continuous tense. Now let us go to the next tense, that is present continuous tense. The first situation that we use present continuous tense is the time when the action is in progress at the time of speaking. While we speak, for example, right now I am teaching. I am teaching English. It must be used in present continuous tense. It can also used in simple present tense. There is no mistake, but most probably the actions which are in progress are expressed in present continuous tense. Next one is temporary situations. What is he doing these days? He is teaching English at Pune University. The meaning of this sentence is he may not be actually teaching at the moment of speaking, but usually in these situations or temporary time he was teaching. For another example, students are learning fast these days. And the next situation when we use present continuous tense is planned future actions. If something is planned in future, that can also be expressed in present continuous tense. We have seen the same rule in present simple present tense also. The planned future actions can be expressed with present continuous tense. For example, we are going to Shimla next year. I am meeting my uncle tomorrow. So these actions are not happening at the time of speaking, but that will be happening in the future, and that is a fixed one. So such situations can be expressed with present continuous tense or simple present tense. And the next situation is repeated actions. She is always helping the poor. Rena is always losing her pen. So these actions are repeatedly happening every day. So in such type of situations, also we can use present continuous tense. Dear students, one thing to be remembered, if an action is fixed in the future time, then we can express that action either with the simple present tense or with the present continuous tense. Now let us talk about stative verbs. The stative verbs are not used in continuous tense. For example, there are five types of verbs are there. First one is verbs of sense and perceptions. The words like see, hear, smell, touch, taste, notice, feel. These words are not used in present continuous tense. And the next one, verbs of emotions. Love, hate, like, dislike, adore, wish, mind, want, desire, hope. These verbs are also not used in present continuous. These will be used in simple present tense. And the next types of verbs are the verbs of mental state and activity. Agree, disagree, belief, disbelief, doubt, trust, differ, find, forgot, imagine, know, mean, recollect, remember, think, suppose, understand. These verbs are also not used in present continuous tense. It will be used in simple present tense. And then verbs of possession: own, belong, possess, have. There are some other verbs also, such as appear, seem, look, contain, consist of, require, resemble, suffice, include, contain, signify, remind, deserve. These words are also used in simple present tense. Let us go to the next tense, that is present perfect tense. It is used to indicate that something has happened at an indefinite time. Usually we don't mention the exact time of the action in present perfect tense. When we mention the time of the action, it will be used in simple past tense. Otherwise, if you do not know the exact time of the action, or if the action just now or recently completed, then we use present perfect tense. For example, he has got a job. He has got a job, but I do not know when he got the job. That it began in the past and has continued up to the present. So, if an action started in the past and it continued up to the present and recently it completed. I have lived in Mumbai for 1 year. So, recently it completed 1 year. So, I can use this situation also is in present perfect tense. And the next one is that it has just happened. The actions which happened just before also can be expressed with the present perfect tense. For example, she has just arrived. The main thing that you have to keep in mind is that the simple past shows when something happened. I lost my book last Sunday. So if you know the exact time of the action, then we can use it in a simple past tense. If you do not know it, if you are not referring that the time of the action, then we can use the sentence in present perfect. I have lost my book. With present perfect tense also we can use since and for. Since is used to mention the beginning of the action, beginning starting point of the action, and for is used to mention the time period of the action. For example, I have lived in Kolkata since January. Beginning, starting point of the action. I started living in Kolkata since January. If I want to use for, I have lived in Kolkata for 9 months. So that is the period of time. And there are certain adverbs associated with the present perfect rather than with the simple past, such as lately, recently, just, already. These adverbs are mostly used in present perfect tense, not with simple past tense. Dear students, the things which we have to keep in mind is that simple past shows a certain time. We have to mention a certain time with simple past. But with present perfect tense, we don't mention an exact time. Secondly, has and have link past perfect often with the since and for. That means we have to use since and for with the present perfect tense also. Next one, the present perfect also shows a recent happening. So the things or the actions which are just now completed or just completed now are mentioned or are expressed with present perfect tense. For example, I have just met my friend on the road. And the next thing that we have to keep in mind is that the adverbs which are used with the present perfect tense, such as lately, recently, just, already. Let us go to the next tense, that is present perfect continuous. Present perfect continuous tense is used to express the action which started in a past time and still it is in progress. It hasn't completed, still it is in progress. For example, I have started to work in this school since 2017. So I can say that I have been teaching in this school since 2017, or I have been teaching in this school for 3 years. So the action started in a past time, but still it's continuing. And this is the first rule. It is to indicate an activity or state which started in the past and has continued until the present. Still, it is continuing. For example, we have been revising verbs for 3 weeks. So, the action of revising verbs started before 3 weeks and still it is continuing. She has been cleaning the house since 8 o'clock. So, she started the work at 8 o'clock and still it is continuing. It hasn't completed. Secondly, it is to emphasize that a past activity or state has been continuous or repeated. For example, they have been playing all afternoon. I have been taking medicine since last Friday and still it is continuing. And the next one is to indicate that a past activity connected with the present but now ended has important result which is now being experienced. For example, we have been driving along muddy roads and now the car is dirty. So, the action started in the past and it is completed just now, and we experience the after effect or its result. For another example, she has been studying all night and has fallen asleep in the class. Dear students, these are the important rules of simple present tense, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous tense. And hereafter, at the end of the chapter, we have some assignments, and I request my students to find out its answers by yourself, and we will discuss it during online classes. Have a nice day. God bless you.